you ever had that incredibly frustrating experience where you finally achieve exactly what you wanted?
Oh, like reaching a massive goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you land the promotion you've been grinding for, or you finally close on the perfect house, or, publish that big project.
Right.
And almost immediately, like before you can even pop the champagne, this quiet, nagging voice in the back of your head just whispers, okay, but what comes next?
Yeah, it's a profoundly unsettling quirk of human psychology, honestly.
It really is.
Modern psychologists often refer to it as the arrival fallacy. It's this illusion that once we reach a certain destination or achieve a specific goal, we're going to reach a state of lasting happiness.
But we don't.
No, we don't. Because we are evolutionarily wired to be dissatisfied. I mean, our brains are literally designed to constantly scan the horizon for the next pursuit or the next threat or the next resource.
And that restless, searching feeling, that total inability to just sit still and be content, is really the engine driving our deep dive today.
It absolutely is.
So, welcome to the deep dive, everyone. We're taking a journey into the absolute limits of human satisfaction today, and we're going to look at the very real dangers of, well, insatiable curiosity.
It's a fascinating topic.
It is. And to do this, we are exploring this haunting, super dreamlike short story by H.P. Lovecraft. It's called The White Ship. Now, if you know Lovecraft, you're probably expecting like tentacles and ancient space gods.
Right, the usual cosmic horror.
Yeah, but this is entirely different.
It really is a remarkable piece of source material because it strips away all that typical cosmic horror and replaces it with this deeply philosophical, almost allegorical fantasy.
Yeah, it's much more internal.
Exactly. It acts as this psychological cartography of human desires. It basically maps out the things we constantly wish for, and ultimately it reveals the underlying mechanics of why some of those things are kept permanently out of our reach.
Okay, so let's set up the framework for you. Our protagonist is a man named Basil Elton, and he is the keeper of the North Point Light.
Which is a very bleak setting. Super bleak. This is a solitary gray lighthouse. It's built on these sunken, slimy rocks far from shore. And he's just continuing this really lonely, very monotonous legacy left by his father and his grandfather before him.
Right. His entire existence is defined by profound isolation, just relentless routine. He literally watches the ocean day in and day out.
Nothing else to do.
Exactly. But as he spends his life just staring into the water, he begins to project his own internal desires onto it. He starts to feel that the ocean is, quote, freighted with the memories and the dreams of time.
Wow.
Yeah. And eventually, in all that isolation, the ocean actually starts to speak to him.
And the imagery here is just incredibly vivid. He's looking out at the water under a full moon, and out of the south, this white ship glides smoothly and silently toward him.
Just out of nowhere.
Right out of nowhere. And on the deck, there's a bearded, robed man who beckons to Basil. And this is the crazy part, Basil literally walks out over the water to board the ship on a bridge of moonbeams.
It's beautiful. It's a totally surreal, magical departure. But I want to make sure we ground this. Basil isn't just taking a whimsical boat ride here, is he?
No, not at all. The stakes of this voyage are much, much higher than a simple geographical journey. This is fundamentally a voyage inward.
Like into his own mind.
Exactly. Basil is embarking on an exploration of his own psyche. The ship is moving through the different stages of human desire. It's visiting these realms that represent the ultimate extreme endpoints of everything you or I might long for.
Okay, which brings us to the first temptation. Because if you think about how human desire works, when we're unhappy with our present, the first place we usually retreat to is the past.
It's the most accessible escape.
Right. So Basil and the bearded man approach a place called Zar. It's this green-shored land with lordly terraces, and it's filled with all the forgotten dreams and thoughts of beauty that come to men once and are then lost.
It's basically a museum of lost potential.
Yeah, exactly. Basil looks out and sees the visions of young poets who died in want before the world could ever see their genius.
It sounds incredibly idyllic, doesn't it? Like this perfect, pristine repository of pure inspiration and nostalgia.
It does.
But there is a fundamental psychological trap here. The bearded man warns Basil that they absolutely cannot set foot on the sloping meadows of Zar.
He literally tells him no.
Yeah. The rule of this realm is absolute. He says he who treads there may never more return to his native shore.
Wow. So if you actually step into your past dreams, you get stuck there forever.
You're trapped.
I mean, I think we all know someone who was trapped in Tsar in real life, right?
Oh, definitely.
Like, the person who peaked in high school, or the entrepreneur who just can't stop talking about the brilliant startup idea they had 10 years ago that never actually got off the ground.
That is the exact mechanism Lovecraft is illustrating here. To dwell entirely in the realm of forgotten, idealized dreams is, well, it's a form of mental paralysis.
Yeah, you stop moving forward.
Right. Nostalgia is a wonderful place to visit, but if you try to live there, you forfeit your ability to engage with present reality entirely.
Okay, so recognizing that trap, the journey obviously has to escalate. If you can't find satisfaction in the past, maybe you can find it by, solving the universe.
Naturally.
So the next desire Basil faces is the hunger for ultimate unfettered knowledge. They see the spires of a mighty city reaching into the sky. And this is Thalarion, the city of 1,000 wonders.
Right. And Thalarion holds all the mysteries that mankind has striven in vain to fathom. Naturally, Basil is completely overwhelmed by curiosity.
I mean, who wouldn't be?
Right. He begs the bearded man to let him enter through its huge carven gate. But the bearded man stops him again. He explains that into Thalarion, many have passed, but none have ever returned.
And the reason why is deeply unsettling.
Very. The bearded man explains that the city is ruled by an entity called the Eidolon Lethe. Now, an Eidolon basically means a phantom, or an idealized specter.
Like a manifestation of something impossible?
Exactly. It's an impossible ideal. And the terrifying detail here is that the streets of Thalarion are literally white with the unburied bones of those who have looked upon this entity.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second, because I feel like this is a crucial point. We all have this instinctual drive to find the absolute truth. Like, we want to know exactly how the universe works, why we're here, what happens after we die.
Sure, it's human nature.
So why does finding those answers leave bones in the street? Like, why is Thalarion so lethal?
Well, think about it in terms of biological processing power. Our human minds are evolved to process reality through filters. We use narratives, myths, simplifications, and, very limited sensory input.
Because we have to.
Right, we need those filters just to function day to day. Thalarion represents the unfiltered, raw, absolute truth of the cosmos.
Oh, I see.
To comprehend the ultimate mysteries of the universe without our human filters would require a mind so completely alien that the sheer weight of that data would just shatter human sanity.
So Thalarion is like the ultimate infinite internet rabbit hole. We want the answers, but we don't want the bones in the street.
Exactly.
It's less like reading a book of answers and more like being thrown completely unprotected into the Mariana Trench.
That's a great way to put it.
Like, we want to know what's at the absolute bottom of the ocean, but the literal pressure of that environment would instantly crush us. We want the truth, but our framework just can't survive the raw code of reality.
That is a much more accurate way to look at it, yes. We crave the absolute truth, but we are biologically and psychologically incapable of surviving it. The pursuit of ultimate knowledge, when it's pushed to its absolute limit, is completely self-destructive.
All right, so Basil avoids the trap of living in the past in Tsar, and he avoids the crushing weight of absolute cosmic truth in Thalarion.
He's doing pretty well so far.
Yeah, but the natural human pivot from there is usually toward the physical, right? Like, if you can't solve the universe, you might as well just enjoy yourself.
Right, the pursuit of pleasure.
And this connects directly back to our own daily lives, this endless pursuit of gratification. So they sail to a new coast, a place called Jura, and it's explicitly described as the land of pleasures unattained.
And on the approach, it seems completely intoxicating.
Oh yeah. The air smells of sweet blossoms. There are these vast, lovely groves. Basil hears bursts of beautiful song and radiant, delicious laughter. He's completely taken in by it.
He practically begs the rowers to hurry up and get them to the shore.
Yeah, he's ready to jump off the boat. But the bearded man just remains completely silent. He doesn't judge, he just watches Basil.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the wind shifts.
And reality sets in.
Right. The air is suddenly filled with this lethal charnel odor. It smells like plague-stricken towns and uncovered cemeteries. The sweet smell was entirely just a mask.
That's horrific.
They sail madly away. But help me unpack the why here. Why does pure pleasure suddenly smell like a graveyard?
Because Lovecraft is illustrating a psychological concept we call the hedonic treadmill, or hedonic adaptation.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
Well, Jura represents the illusion of pure, unbridled hedonism. From a distance, the pursuit of endless physical pleasure seems like the key to happiness. But the human dopamine system is entirely based on contrast.
Contrast, like having good days and bad days.
Exactly. If you eat your absolute favorite dessert for every single meal, every single day, eventually it loses its appeal. Then it becomes nauseating. And finally, it essentially becomes a form of torture.
Right, because there's no friction. You need the hunger to enjoy the meal.
Exactly. When you actually get close to pure pleasure, when the wind shifts, you realize that a life completely devoid of meaning, challenge, or friction, a life focused only on momentary gratification, inevitably decays.
It rots.
It literally rots from the inside out because it cannot sustain itself. It is, as the story shows, a decaying corpse covered in sweet-smelling flowers.
Man. Which leaves Basil in a really tough spot. Because he's rejected nostalgia, he rejected truth, and now he's rejected pure pleasure.
He's running out of options.
Yeah, where do you go when pleasure turns out to be a plague town? Well, you go to Sononel. This is the land of fancy. They sail into a harbor guarded by these twin crystal headlands that meet in a resplendent arch.
It's stunning.
And Sononel is exactly what it sounds like. There is no time, there is no space, there's absolutely no suffering, and no death. Basil walks onto the shore, again on a bridge of moonbeams, and he dwells there for eons.
Beyond.
Just endless green groves, cool fountains, and absolute unalloyed peace.
It is the ultimate sanctuary. He has finally found a true utopia, an existence utterly free from the burdens and limitations of mortality.
Okay, but I'm going to push back on the narrative progression here, because here's where it gets really interesting to me. He finds a literal utopia. No death, no pain, just endless gardens and joy.
Right.
And he stays for eons, but eventually he decides he wants to leave. And I have to be honest, I work long hours, I deal with stress, traffic, bills. Sononel sounds like my exact retirement plan.
I think it sounds like everyone's retirement plan.
Right, if I found a place with zero suffering, I would never leave. Isn't Sononel the finish line for human existence? Why on earth would anyone abandon literal perfection?
Well, you think you wouldn't leave, but psychology suggests otherwise. This is Lovecraft making a really profound commentary on the deeply contradictory nature of the human animal.
How so?
Human nature is fundamentally incompatible with static perfection.
Incompatible, why?
Because we define ourselves and our sense of purpose through overcoming obstacles. Think about the concept of contrast again. We only understand warmth because we have experienced the cold.
Right.
We only feel the relief of rest because we have experienced exhaustion. In Sononel, there is no struggle, no cold, no exhaustion, and the total absence of struggle eventually breeds a completely new, more insidious kind of unrest.
A sort of boredom, but worse.
Much worse. It's a mirror held up to your own life. If everything in your world was absolutely flawlessly perfect, with no goals to achieve and no problems to solve, eventually the human brain would invent a reason to leave.
So you're saying that if we were given actual paradise, our own biology would make us allergic to it? Like we would manufacture a crisis just to have something to do?
We would have to, or we would lose our sense of identity entirely. And that manufactured unrest manifests for Basil in the story in the form of a bird.
A bird?
Yes, a celestial bluebird appears against the full moon, singing a mysterious song, and Basil feels the first stirrings of unease.
And that unease quickly crystallizes into a tragic, unyielding obsession. He tells the bearded man that he wants to leave Sononel. He wants to follow the bird and travel to a place called Cthulhu, which is known as the Land of Hope.
The Land of Hope.
Yeah. Cthulhu is said to lie far beyond the basalt pillars of the West. Now, no man has ever seen it, but Basil builds it up in his mind. He envisions Cthulhu as the abode of gods, a place with cities of gold, forests of aloe and sandalwood, and the great palace of the monarch of Doria.
Notice the tragic irony of what is happening here.
He's throwing it all away.
Exactly. He has perfect happiness in his hands, but he willingly trades it for an imagined ideal. The bearded man practically begs him not to go. He repeatedly warns Basil to turn back to the happy shores of Sononel.
He tries so hard to stop him.
He does. He says, Sononel is known of men, while none hath ever beheld Cthulhu. He asks this vital question. Who can tell what lies beyond the basalt pillars of the West?
But let me play devil's advocate for a second here. The place he wants to go is literally called the Land of Hope. Isn't hope generally considered a positive human trait?
Usually, yeah.
I mean, hope is what built the modern world. It cures diseases, it builds rockets, it pushes society forward. So why is Lovecraft framing hope as the ultimate villain here?
Because there's a vast psychological difference between actionable, productive hope and delusional, escapist hope.
Okay, what's the difference?
Actionable hope is looking at a flawed present and working to improve it. What Basil is suffering from is the extreme, fatal version of the grass is always greener syndrome.
Oh, I see.
His hope isn't a tool for progress, it is a total rejection of reality. It's the delusion that there must always be something better out there, a mindset that fundamentally blinds you to the value of what you already possess. Hope, when it becomes an endless hunger for the unattainable, becomes a fatal flaw.
And Basil is completely blinded by it. He ignores the warnings. He's lured by the song of that blue bird and the arrogant power of his own imagination.
He thinks he knows better.
Yeah, he boards the white ship, they follow the bird, and they sail for 31 days until they reach the mists of the basalt pillars.
And when the mist finally lifts, what do they find?
Well, there's no golden city. There are no fragrant forests. There is only a swift, rushing, restless sea. And their helpless ship is pulled toward a monstrous cataract, basically a gigantic waterfall, where the oceans of the world just drop down into abysmal nothingness.
The ultimate terrifying extension of the grass is always greener.
Exactly. He leaves paradise for a giant waterfall into nowhere, and the bearded man weeps. As they are pulled over the edge into the abyss, he utters this incredibly chilling line. He says, "We have rejected the beautiful land of Sonanel, which we may never behold again. The gods are greater than men, and they have conquered."
The gods have conquered because human nature defeated itself. The pursuit of hope for something greater than perfection was an act of supreme hubris. It is human nature pushing past its allowable boundaries, demanding more than the universe can possibly offer, only to find total destruction.
But that plunge into the abyss isn't the end of the story, is it? It actually brings us to the final, devastating reality check.
Right, because the cosmic plunge over the waterfall doesn't actually kill Basil Elton.
It doesn't.
No, instead it violently snaps him back. It is a harsh, aggressive return to the very reality he was trying to escape all along, but the return comes with a devastating, real-world cost.
Basil wakes up in the darkness. He's crouching on the damp stone slab of his lighthouse platform. He is back exactly where he started, but the environment is completely chaotic.
Everything has gone wrong.
He hears the shrieking of men. From the darkness below his tower, he can see the vast, blurred outlines of a vessel breaking up on the cruel rocks. And then he realizes the true horror of the situation. His lighthouse beacon has failed.
For the first time.
The light has gone out for the first time since his grandfather assumed its care.
So while he was wandering through his mind, exploring Zar and Thalarian, and resting for eons in Sonanil, and chasing the illusion of Pythuria, he completely abandoned his actual post.
He neglected his vital purpose in the real world.
And it gets even stranger when we look at the timeline, because when he goes inside the tower, he looks at the calendar on the wall. It remains exactly as it was at the hour he left.
No time has passed in the real world at all.
Right. And when dawn breaks, Basil goes down to the rocks to look for wreckage. He finds no magical remnants. He doesn't find the white ship. He only finds a dead azure bird and a single shattered white spar of wood.
Just normal debris.
And from that day forward, the ocean never speaks its secrets to him again. The white ship never returns.
It's completely silent.
If we synthesize all of this and connect it to the bigger picture for anyone listening right now, the true tragedy of the white ship isn't just that Basil Elton lost access to a beautiful fantasy world.
What is it then?
It's the cost of his escapism. In his relentless pursuit of an unattainable illusion and chasing Cthulhu, the land of hope, he abandoned his responsibility. His daydreaming, his utter dissatisfaction with his present reality, directly cost the lives of the mortal sailors on the wrecked ship below his tower.
Man, it is such a brutal wake-up call about the danger of living entirely in your own head. Like we spend so much time searching the horizon for the next big thing, the next achievement, the next imagined paradise.
We all get caught up in the arrival fallacy.
Right. But while our minds are off sailing on a bridge of moonbeams, the lighthouse we are actually supposed to be tending, our actual lives, our careers, the people who depend on us, goes dark.
It demands a rigorous balance.
Yeah.
Listen, there is absolutely nothing inherently wrong with dreaming of a better tomorrow or striving for a goal.
Sure, we have to have goals.
The danger arises when those dreams become a form of escapism that causes you to sever your connection to the present moment and the duties you owe to reality. You cannot become so obsessed with the horizon that you forget to maintain the lighthouse you are currently standing in.
You really can't.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on this strange, haunting maritime journey with us today. It is definitely one of those narratives that just burrows into your brain and changes the way you look at your own goals.
It raises vital questions about what we value, how we process satisfaction, and how much we are willing to risk in the pursuit of the unknown.
It really does. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with one final unsettling question to mull over.
Oh, this is a good one.
Yeah, because we know the calendar in the lighthouse didn't change, and we know Basil found a dead bird and a shattered white spar on the rocks at dawn. So did Basil Elton actually travel to another dimension?
Right.
Did he step outside of time for eons to visit the lands of fancy? Or was his entire cosmic voyage just a momentary hallucination, like a dream born of such profound, crushing isolation that it simply caused him to fall asleep on his watch?
A terrifying thought.
And if that's true, was the mystical white ship he thought he was sailing on simply the mundane, mortal vessel that he failed to save from the rocks? Think about that. Next time you find yourself getting exactly what you wanted and that little voice asks, what's next? Remember Basil Elton?
Yeah?
And maybe take a moment to just keep your light burning right where you are.